Hi everybody, welcome to the Ball and Chain. What a week right across crypto and across football. So much to talk about that I'm going to do 3 separate shows today. So the first introduction is going to be for my crypto update. What a week we've had, but I'll just put a little ticker in there to say that we're doing a video to summarise. I've got a lot to catch up on the football, and then I'm also going to do a one-off special on the Sheffield United game because I feel there was so much action, so much to report against that I'm going to do a special one-off on that because I just feel compelled to due to the amount of talking points. I can give you my action from the game, and then also on reflection, I've been watching the extended highlights, which has changed my opinion slightly. So I wanted to give quite a balanced view on that, which you might not get everywhere. So I wanted to provide that little bit of reflection because I think might be useful and it'll generate hopefully some interest as well. So yeah, 3 shows. So we're gonna crack on with the crypto one on this one. I recorded another intro video for the other 2 videos. So please don't just limit to this video. If you're interested in the other content as well, please check that out as well. Trying to separate it out so you can decide which one you want to watch. You're not compelled to watch everything. You don't have to look for the timestamps. You can just consume the content as and when you want, split over 3 videos. So let's get on with the show. Grab yourself a drink and I'll see you on the other side. Hello everybody. Let's start with the crypto update and let's start with the bad news first, or it could be bad, but it might end up being good, if you get what I mean. So on Tuesday night for us in the UK and Tuesday evening in the US, they came to an unfortunate shutdown, an unprecedented shutdown actually. It's only the third time I think, it's the first time in nearly 7 years this has happened. And basically what that means is that the Democrats and Republicans cannot reach a consensus on a spending bill, which essentially means they shut down shop until they can reach a consensus or until they get an agreement. So we'll go into that a little bit more and exactly what that means. So, the BBC reported it, that the shutdown, it will come back, but we don't know how it's going to play out. And the BBC have ranked a number of different scenarios into how that can happen. So, Senate Democrats shot down a Republican spending bill that would have kept the government operating until November, but that vote may have contained the seeds of their defeat. So there was definitely a spread of uncertainty across that, and that's why we've got to this bill. So, there's they're laying out 3 things that could happen. So the Democrats quickly break ranks, the Democrats do back down, or the Republicans make concessions. And the longer this goes out, the more the economy in America shuts down, the more the challenges come. And last time it happened, there were billions lost in economic revenue as a result of this shutdown because, people are furloughed or there's rifts, which means people are laid off. So it could have quite catastrophic events. Now, the cynical part of me thinks, is this part of Trump's plan? Has he really pushed this and tried to make this happen so that there is an economic impact as a result, so that rate cuts, etc., can accelerate to try and boost economy? It's interesting. It's a real big gamble, and it's messing with people's lives. It's really dangerous. But we've known that Trump and the administration are not afraid to do this sort of thing. Look at that positively and negatively. For us as crypto investors, though, and for us on the other side of the world and those who aren't in America, and I'm sorry for those who are and are suffering from this, you have my sympathies. I hope this gets resolved and it doesn't have too wide a reaching impact on friends in the US. From purely taking myself away from that political view, because I don't want to have an opinion on that, because I'm in no position to have one. I don't know all the information, so it's unfair for me to make that opinion. However, I do believe that the economic impact of this can only be positive for crypto. And why is that, do you say? Well, normally when this happens, the US dollar tanks. Eventually it'll go up and then it tanks. When the US dollar starts to tank and the Dixie goes down, typically people move into risk assets because that is seen as safer than being in the dollar, believe it or not. So you're going to see people moving money into stocks and eventually working its way into crypto. And because of that, I think you're going to see, we might see, we are seeing positive movement. I don't know if that's in reaction to the shutdown, but it can only help crypto because the dollar is weakening, which means assets are improved. People are seeing assets more as a safe haven to preserve capital, and that's what's potentially happening. Why do I mention it? Well, that's clearly going to have an impact. There's another two areas that I think are going to impact our market this week. One, there's token. There's a big crypto conference happening in Singapore. I think it's Token 2049 or something like that, where people are descending on, and there's opportunities. Everybody's speaking there, and I think as the week progresses, we're going to see more coming out of that, more bullish narratives, and hopefully we might get an inkling onto some of the key narratives that people are going to start to sort of ape into, and that could set the tone for the real major plays in alt season to keep an eye on. So worth following that. We'll keep track of that. We'll keep you updated on what happens with token I think 2049, but that token event in Singapore. We've also got a number of key things happening over the next couple of months. You've got XRP are doing a conference, you've got Sui are doing a conference, Solana, Ethereum are doing massive upgrade. Like, there are a lot of these end of year conferences that usually set out a really exciting roadmap, and people tend to ape into those coins and then sell the news. So we need to be mindful of that. We need to be watching that. You've also got, obviously it's October now, we're moving into what people notoriously call Uptober. The history shows, though, and Ben Cowan's rightly pointed this out, and I agree when I've seen the historic charts, is that Bitcoin typically tends to do the best in October. Like, Bitcoin leads the race. And then it's November, December when we see the altcoin explosion. So don't expect, altcoins are pumping, but that's in retaliation in sync with Bitcoin. We can't see any outliers at the moment. We'll show the charts. Let's have a look at the charts so we can start to see that. And we can start to see it. Also, I think it's worth saying, before I start going through the numbers and start getting, mega bullish and start talking about that we also have to remember that FTX creditors repaid back, I think it was a few billion, to people that were affected by the FTX scandal, and they received their payouts in stable coins on the 30th of September. So they'll be hitting the market now. Like, my expectation is they will be reinvested, and all these factors, coupled with Michael Saylor continuing to ape into Bitcoin, coupled with all the treasuries starting to continue to buy, and the ETFs, that all culminates in capital flowing into cryptocurrency, and we're seeing the positive reaction to that this week. And now, if we have a really positive start to October and it continues to boom, that could put us into a really, really favourable position for price action. So it's really important that we continue to watch that. So let's go through and have a look. Look, we are seeing, look at that in 7 days. This is beautiful, isn't it? How nice is this to see a really clean green scheme? And I'm just going to scroll it over so you can see the last 7 days in chart form. I mean, how beautiful is that? Green, green, green. Oh my god. You got a bit of mess there in AVAX. But look, it's still charting high. Like, I'm going to say that's amber. We're not going full red. That's a dirtying our picture up. But just look at that. There's not many there across the top 100 cryptos that are actually red. We're all looking green, which is we couldn't have dreamed for that, could we? Really, like, coming into October, this is exactly what we all wanted. So fantastic news. Great to see this happening. Tell you what, look at Asta there, 8.9%. That is seen as the competitor, if you will, to Hype. It's a DEX platform that's been predominantly used in the East and really seems to be gathering momentum and traction. Definitely one to watch. You see, market cap has gone up positively, and it seems to have plateaued last couple of days, but 2.4% is absolutely awesome. It's going in the right direction. Keep it going. Trading volume went up. It spiked a little bit, but that's to be expected. We just need to keep an eye on all this happening. Let's go down. You can see the top gainers. We've got Chain Opera AI. Zcash has really done well. Let's just pulling those percentages for you. 71%, nearly 60%, and nearly 6% on world assets. So again, like, it's so difficult, isn't it? Because this market, I don't think all alts are going to pop. So we've got to be really careful. Like, you're not going to have like previous cycles where every single altcoin popped in November. Like, we are going to see. So my view is, I've got bad plays that I've been bagging for years, and I wish I'd have put it into Bitcoin. That's on me. I'm holding my hands up. But I'm going to wait till November. I'm going to clear everything out. November, December, clear everything out. Move it into Bitcoin where I can, take profits where I can, or take the loss and then write it off. and then just reset for 2026, which I think is probably the most prudent plan. I won't be selling any Bitcoin, never sell my Bitcoin. I'm going to hold that for as long as I can until I'm in a position to meet whatever life goals I've got, and I've got a couple of them that I'm targeting price points where I might consider selling Bitcoin, but hopefully it's at such a price where I can still keep some of my Bitcoin. I only need to sell it to pay for stuff that I want to do in my life, which is why you invest, right? What's the point in investing and doing this if you're just going to sit on it and it's just paper gains? Like, you need that capital flowing somewhere to make your life better, right? Otherwise, why do it? You might as well spend it now, right? So that's sort of where we're going. Let's have a look across the board. So look at this. How good is it? I mean, ETH's outperforming Bitcoin over the last 7 days, which is awesome. Look at ETH. Like, it was just under 4K. Now it's nearly at 4.5K. What a move by ETH. This is great to see. Great to see. Will XRP top that $3 mark? That is a critical point for XRP. If it breaks that, starts to move up higher, then I think the next point everyone's tipping is $5. Could XRP reach $5? We've got some crazy things like XRP is going to 10 grand and shit like that. That's not happening. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'll happily sit on here and eat a tin of cold baked beans if that goes any higher than $10. Like, it's not happening. It gets to $5 this cycle. It has done amazing, and I will be shocked at that. I think, with the token supply and tokenomics for XRP, I've invested in it, but I'm low in XRP. I don't have a lot, and I'll be looking to offload it this cycle before the Ripple founders start to offload it. Like, I'm not bullish on XRP. However, I do respect its comeback from being under under $1 to now tripling its gains to $3, and I think that's a pretty stable price. So I think $3 is probably $2 to $3 is a fair price for XRP, and I think we'll see it dip down much lower than that in the bear market. So like I say, just be mindful of that. BNB continues to, I mean, wow, a grand for a BNB target. I remember when that was much lower, and I would never thought. I mean, CZ, he's played a corker. He's played a corker this year and continues to do so on BNB coin. Solana's getting up there, 12% gain in 7 days. So actually, Solana's outperforming quite a lot at the moment. It was nearly under $200 last week. Like I said, last week was the last 2 weeks have been buy the dip opportunities. I always regret that I didn't go in harder, but I'm so glad that I did buy some last week, and I didn't lose faith in the plan. We knew September it would dip at some point, and when it dipped, that was the last chance to go in. I won't be buying now. I'm going to hold off and try and hold, and not buy when it's green, and I would, that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to try and just wait now. The time is to wait for the right pump and the right narrative to come out and hit my profit targets and start taking profit. Doja's doing well. Like, it's a similar story. You look across the week, we're up quite a bit. Some aren't doing as well, and I think we just got to keep an eye on those. Cardano, come on, Cardano, get up above $1 and stay up above $1 and stop messing about and teasing us, all right? Do us all a favour and get to where you need to go and stop faffing about. Chainlink, another one. Chainlink, come on, Chainlink, like $50 this cycle. That's what we're hoping for. Get there, please. Hype is slightly down, but 20% recovery. Like, it was down $43. Like, Hype, the DEX in Hype is just sweet. This one, it's been a great call. So I didn't get into that early enough. I think it's too late for me to go in now. It might not be. It might get to $100, and I might be sat here thinking I should have gone in there. Shit, but it is what it is. But it's too late now for me to have regrets. Sui, I've got into, and I bought some more last week, and I'm really pleased I did. I bought it at, I don't know, what was it, like $3.15. It's now $3.58. Happy, making some profit on there every day, so that's cool. But I'm not stopping there. Like, Hype has got, for me, Hype's $5 to $7, maybe even $10. I think that's what I'm targeting to take some profits on, and just make sure I leave in a good way. As I've heard quite a few times, nobody went broke by taking profits. So we've got to remember that all the time. Might not be maximum profits, but profit is profit. AVAX, not doing great, is it? But it did have some big moves, and therefore, again, I'm not into AVAX, but I respect it as a player in the market. Stellar doing well, pretty much with XRP. Will Stellar get to $1? Who knows? Hoping it does. I've got a little bit of Stellar again, a little bit of Stellar XRP. But like I said, I'll be cleaning house this year on those ones. Let's have a look for some other people. Litecoin's doing well. Pull back a little bit, but 15% gain is pretty sick. Crow, again, Crow's awesome for trading, isn't it? I'm just like, I saw it last week at 18 cents, and I'm thinking, I remember when it was 30. Like, that's such a cool move, and it's up to 22 already. Like, I probably wish I'd have got involved in that rather than World Liberty Finance, but each day may come. I'm hoping there's, I think Eric Trump's talking at the conference in Singapore. My hope is that he does us proud and comes up and brings the daddy home with that. Shib, not bad, doing all right, back up. Apparently, people are talking that's going to do well. Dot, I think, come on, Dot, let's get it sorted. Mantle's done amazing, 20% gaining last week. That is superb. I thought, where else we've got World Liberty Finance. Come on, like this one, it looked like it was doing well. Then it shot down and went up to 24 cents. And I'm thinking, is this gonna? Because I think if it starts to push 30, I'm thinking, right, okay, let's kick on. Let's get back to that listing price of 40 cents and let's start to push through there. But it never quite does it. It's gonna take. I heard that there was a partnership with Aptos happening for them to create a stable coin that's gonna put pressure on Ton. We'll see. I think it's still early in World Liberty. For me, the jury's out. There's still a lot more bullish catalyst that can happen, and I'm not pulling out yet. I've got a feeling that something will come out of the bag with that, and therefore I'm going to hold bags and stay true to the courage of my convictions until the end of the year, and then I'm going to write off if I'm not doing very well. It was a risky buy. I can't see me losing too much on it, but if it comes off and it explodes, I'm hoping like real world assets will and stuff like that. That might become a narrative in the next few weeks with Ondo and World Liberty Finance. My hope is that we can see those pump. Okay, let's start to wrap up a little bit this bit. Aptos again, off the back of that news with World Liberty Financial, it really has shot up. So it's broke the $5 mark. It's pulled back a little bit, but still staying over $5, which is a real psychological barrier. Interesting how that plays out now. Asta has been the winner. It's down 6.1% over the last 7 days, but it's recovered really well. 10% and 9% in the last 24 hours, 4% in the last hour. But interesting to see where that goes. Ando again, it's risen, so I'm not complaining. I bought it under 90 cents, so I think longer term that's going to be a good buy. But we'll see. 94. It really needs to perform. Ondo's day it's been consolidating for such a long time. It needs to pop, and it needs to pop soon. Store has dropped down quite a lot. I remember it was about $13-14. I hope people took profits who went into that. We were talking about it at 7. It went up as high as 14. Hopefully you took profits on the way up there and you're not sat round tripping. I'm not sure if that's going to come back. Who knows? We'll see what happens in the next week, and we'll review that. If it breaks $10 again, we'll see where that gets to. Anything else? Oh, my MYX Finance was a big pumper. Look at that, 54% in the last 7 days. Wow. $13. Down a little bit in the last 24, but there's a natural pullback. When you pump that much, you got to have some pullback and some consolidation. So see what happens. Pump.Funds, another one we've talked about quite a lot. That's been a really great one to trade, hasn't it? But this week's just been awesome. 33% pull up. Zcash looks like a new one, but look at that. Wow, 137%. If you got in there a week ago, fair play to you. You have done amazing. Make sure, please, for God's sake, take some profits, man. Just don't sit on that. Just take some profits. Like the gain's awesome. I know it could go higher, but just take a little bit of money off, even if it's your initial investment, and just ride the profit, right? So you're not at a loss. Just do something like that. Not financial advice, but I'm just trying to help you out. God, man, that's just like crazy. Okay, 12% on Penguins. We'll see what happens. I put a little bit in this, but I don't know. It's a gamble, innit? it. I mean, all alts are gambles, but that's an F gamble. So we'll see what happens with that one. 12%, great move. Enough said. It's above what I bought it at, so I'm in profit just slightly, because of Coinbase fees. We'll see what happens with Pengu. I'm that's edging my bets. Real world finance, and this one's quite an interesting project if NFTs come back on the agenda this time round, then they've got quite a lot going on in a number of different spaces. So it's quite an interesting project, funny one as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Anything else that's front of mind and pops out here? 10%? Nah, nothing. No. Oh, Quant up 20%. That's had a really good move, hasn't it, Quant? So that Quant is largely linked with the UK. There's been a lot of talk about them partnering with the British government to do quite a lot of work. So it's worth keeping an eye on that. Not that I've got any faith that the British government are going to do anything positive with crypto. And there's been a huge petition. I don't know how close people follow British politics, but the UK government, in their infinite wisdom, wanted to come and bring forward with digital IDs, and they wanted to really start to push that in anger. But people have reacted. I signed a petition, and over 2 million other Brits signed a petition against the digital ID. I know the argument is, well, you carry a phone, you've got your passport, you've got your drive, but that's a choice, right? I choose to drive, I choose to leave the country, and I choose to carry my phone around. If I didn't want to do that, I could stop tomorrow. With a digital ID, that's forced on you, and I don't want to be forced to do anything, so you can piss off. I don't want it. Bye-bye. So moving down, FET. I could cry. Like, FET went up to $3 and I frigging round tripped it. Like, I am so good. That is probably one of my big lessons this cycle. Like, I've learned some lessons over being in crypto, but FET is my, that and Stacks are probably my two most disappointing purchases, because and more so with FET because it went up to $3 and I missed it, and I didn't have a proper exit strategy. I was hoping it would go up to like $8. I was too greedy. $3. I look back, if I took $3, I'd be happy now. Like, if it gets back up to 3, I'm just cashing out and I'm going to thank my lucky stars. I don't think it'll get to that. It'll probably get to $2. So it'll be profit. Maybe if it even gets to that, like, the AI narrative is probably dead now. So I might have missed that. I've just got to hope it goes enough so I don't suffer massive loss. But again, my reflection is I shouldn't have put it into that. If I'd put it to Bitcoin, I'd have been much better off. Lesson learned. Like, Bitcoin is the daddy. Bitcoin is king. I mean, my thought is, do you know what, next year I'm going to stop faffing about trying to look for big altcoin, next altcoin. If I pass my knowledge on, my big learning this year, right, is like, stop faffing about with alts. And I have put a majority of my capital into Bitcoin, so I'm not gutted, I'm not upset. I haven't deployed loads of capital into altcoins, but I have put money into too many alts. Next year my plan is consolidating Bitcoin, dollar cost average in Bitcoin. I don't care what price it is. I'm going to keep buying it every week. But as it drops down, I will start to dollar cost average more. Like, that's it, sliding scale, right? But I am going to consolidate all my alts. And next year, when ETH drops below 2K, I'll start dollar cost averaging there. When Sol drops below 100, which they all will, come on, they are going to drop below those, I'm telling you now. Unless we get ETFs that are plummeting loads of money and treasury companies. But I guarantee when that price plummets, either next year or late next year, like 90%, what's going to happen to these treasury companies? Like, that's a big concern for me. They're all going all in on like ETH and altcoins that traditionally do suffer in the bear market, like catastrophic losses, far more explosive and exaggerated than Bitcoin. What's going to happen? So, like, I will wait for it to capitulate, then I'll average in, because the cycles will come. Like, ETH's not going away, and neither is Sol. And I think they've all got a part to play in the ecosystem, unless a player comes and just trumps it all and we get, you know, a pets.com bubble, like, breakage. I can see that happening. So let's just keep an eye on that and just be mindful. But that's my strategy. Right, let's move on to crypto bubbles. Look at that. I think we've already gone through this, and you can see a majority of it over the last hour's green, over the last day is green. And let's have a look at the week, because that is going to be super nice. Look at that. It's largely green. You've got a couple of outliers that are red. But, guys, it's been a good week. And it's been certainly a good 24 hours. Like, enjoy this. Like, this is beautiful. This is what we want to see more of. Like, we want to get to the month and we want it all green. But look at some of these over the last month. Let's just reflect on that. Like Pump, NYX. Those guys have been, look up Dodge, 20%. IMX 36%. Like, let's have a look and celebrate this, because this is great to see. So let's enjoy that. Fear and Greed Agates. Wow, we're in green now, 64. Not a surprise. It's going green. We're seeing green across the board. But just think of that. Like, yesterday and last week was sort of, you know, neutral to fear. The last couple of weeks we've had fear, between fear and neutral. Now we're moving into greed. Now we're moving into fun times. And my hope is that we stay in greed now. We might fluctuate because of this shutdown stuff and a few narratives going up and down, but I think we're largely going to stay above neutral and into greed. And I think when we get into extreme greed, time to start thinking about packing your bags and shutting the door. But that's let's see. Alt season now we are dipping the toes in, aren't we? Alt season, aren't we? And I think it's going to stay at this. I think because we're going to see dominance go up in Bitcoin this month. Don't be surprised if the alt season indicator doesn't say we're in alt season. I'm not expecting that. We shouldn't worry too much. Like don't panic too much that we're not in alt season. Look at how it's fluctuated, right? Look at how we've gone up and down. So like I wouldn't worry too much. Like we are going to dip. Like if we drop down to 68, it doesn't mean alt season's dead. It just means that we just need to be cognizant of the fact that this may change. Look at this fluctuation. Like let's be cognizant that things might change. So don't worry too much. And I think over the next few months, we'll see this gradually grind up, and alt season will become more apparent. So like at the moment, we expect October to be a good month for Bitcoin. It traditionally is. Again, we've read this playbook. We talked about it last month. We said we're expecting a red month at some point. It came very late on, and it's recovered incredibly. And we go into October now, green and really promising. I'm expecting Bitcoin to hit all-time highs this month. 150k is probably the top, but I'm expecting more like 140k maybe Bitcoin, which would be phenomenal. Like what a return if you got in at 17k or 20k even. That's a huge like paper return. Whether you cash it out, I'm not going to be, but you know you could take amazing profits there, and that would be sick. And that's just from last cycle to this cycle. Like we're not talking if you got in years ago at crazy low prices for Bitcoin. So unbelievable gains to be had. Like it's been a really good week. Enjoy it, continue to enjoy it, and let's see where we go. Let's see what happens with the shutdown. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on price, and let's just keep watching. But my prediction is Bitcoin dominance in October. We'll see that go up. We'll see that continue. We'll break new all-time highs, and then you'll see once it gets to all-time high, we'll see that rotation into ETH again, and we'll start to see alts back, and then November, maybe even into December, we'll see alt season, and we'll see the altcoin boom. And do you know what? I am super excited to see that explosion in price. We've seen bits of it, but we've not seen it happening like rockets going up to the sky. And my hope is in November and December we'll do that, and it'll be a very exciting time. We just have to remember that psychological element to take profits. Always take profits. And on that note, I'm going to end it there. Really positive week. Let's enjoy it. Let's keep an eye on the narratives and the news that are happening, and let's try and stay in the green and keep some profits. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week, and let's hopefully see that green momentum continue. Have a good one. Bye.